Bitcoin is back to $98,000, but what does this mean and where do I think that we're going? Let's take a look at the charts. So right now Bitcoin is sitting at $98,000, and what I want to point us to is the halving. And this, if you don't know what this means, is basically every 4 years Bitcoin's inflation gets cut in half. And everyone keeps telling me that it is different this time. It's different this time. But let's take a look back in 2020 after the halving. So you have the halving here, approximately 180 days before you start to actually rock and roll. In this particular case, it was 177 days. But what's more interesting is the orange line is the halving. Back here in 2017 is the previous all-time high. December post-halving, Bitcoin tries to get above the all-time high, gets rejected momentarily before starting its way back up in the end of December / in January. Okay, but that might be just one example. You might be saying to yourself that, oh, this is just one example. Let's take a look back in the 2016 halving. Okay, everyone keeps telling me that it's different this time, Ski. I promise you. Let's take a look. The orange line is the halving, 180 days before rocking and rolling. This is 176 days. Here's the all-time high. Tries to get above the all-time high. December of after the halving, gets rejected off of the all-time high, comes back, reaccumulates before starting the real deal bull market. Now, you might be saying to yourself that, well, Bitcoin is... it's already past that. So why are you referring to all of these things, Ski? Like, what is the deal? Why are you referring to all this stuff, Ski? Come on. Bitcoin is already past all that. And to that, I would say I agree. Bitcoin is ahead of schedule, although it did take the same number of days. It still took 188 days before we got rocking and rolling. That is all the same. So Bitcoin is ahead of schedule. So where are we at and what does this mean? Well, I'll tell you. When we look at the total too, which is everything that is not crypto, that is not Bitcoin, so all of the other thousands and thousands of cryptocurrencies not named Bitcoin, this is the total too. Here's the halving, 180 days, same thing. This time it was 200 days for the total too. Before it got rocking and rolling, 199 days. And then what happens? You have the all-time high back in 2021, tries to get above it in December, post-halving. You finding a theme here? Rejection, backtest of the prior range. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So this to me is all very well and good. And what is encouraging to me for Bitcoin is relatively we held everything that we needed. We had this critical line here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 candles. Tried to get it below 92,000 and could not. Okay, does this mean that we're out of the woods right this second? No, it does not. But I'm showing some encouraging signs. This seems to be support. We're getting our first green candle. What I think fundamentally has actually happened here is some tax strategies. Millionaires and billionaires, they do all of their strategies. They have to pay for all of their things in December before the tax year ends so that they get the write-off. And I think that that's what's happening. I think some crypto has been sold for tax purposes, and it's going to be rebought again. Ultimately, the very next phase, in my opinion, when we look at the Bitcoin dominance, I'm showing some encouraging signs for alt season. Now, if you don't know what the Bitcoin dominance is, this measures the percentage of the entire cryptocurrency market that is invested into Bitcoin. And for us to get a real deal alt season, and if you don't know what that is, when you think about the life-changing money in cryptocurrency, that is from alt season. In my opinion, the very next phase is alt season. But stipulations that need to happen for this to be true is Bitcoin dominance needs to roll over. And Bitcoin dominance for the past 2 years has just been on a straight line terror off the Valhalla. Okay? So we had my prediction was 62%. We got to 61.5%. Stark rejection. And this to me is a dead cat bounce. So from the top to the bottom, just like if you were to drop a ball from the top to the bottom, it would bounce 50 to 70%. That is the move right here to the 702, and we got rejected again. This is very encouraging signs. What I want to see is a continuation and making a lower low. That would be absolutely beautiful, 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 beautiful. Because in the past, when we also need Bitcoin to be rising higher. When Bitcoin dominance peaks, Bitcoin dominance falls off a cliff, Bitcoin continues to rise. I think that's a key element of the equation. Bitcoin will continue to rise to $138,000, $207,000. That has been my prediction since 20K. That is when we're going to get our real deal alt season. And when we look at the total 2, the total 3, and all the other cryptocurrencies, all of them have the exact same setup. We're going to look at ICP, but it doesn't matter. I just want to show you the structure of the markdown, accumulation, sign of strength, back test of the prior range. This is the chef's kiss to me. What do I mean by this? Here we go. We're going to show you 1, 2, and 3 different coins that have the exact same setup in 3 different phases. This is what alt season is going to look like, in my opinion. So we got 1, 2, and 3. The coins don't matter, but these are different phases. We're talking about structure here. Markdown, markdown, markdown. Accumulation, accumulation, accumulation. Sign of strength, sign of strength, sign of strength. Back test of the prior range, back test of the prior range, back test of the prior range. Okay? All of these have done all of these moves. And what I'm referring to is this right here. We're talking about Wyckoff accumulation, which is my bread and butter. Here is the textbook. Markdown, selling climax, accumulation, sign of strength, back test of the prior range, followed by phase E, which is what we call the bull run. In Wyckoff, you call it phase E. This is phase E, and then you go into distribution and you start the whole process over. All right, so let's look at our 3 coins. All right, they all have that. All right. Every single one of them have that. Doge has started the phase E. And then on the bottom, we have Render. This is the end of the conclusion on where it goes. Most of the coins look like the top coin right here, but this is how the story ends. Full on parabolic bull run. In Render's case, it did a 30x. But here is the crazy thing. It starts over again. It's just on a loop forever. On a loop forever. Parabolic rise, distribution, markdown, selling climax, sign of strength, back test of the prior range. This is the chart that I'm looking for. So what should you do if you're brand new in this game? You should continue to dollar cost average and follow me for more. You savages.